Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Media personality and inspirational speaker Vuyo Joboda is no stranger to the Afternoon Express family.
So she joins us today in studio to discuss her first book ever. Congratulations on this, titled 21. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It always feels good being back on the couch. Feels like home.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, us too. In fact, we almost do live here. We spend so much time here. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your book. What inspired the idea for you to write it, and how long did it take you to put it all together?
So 21 was a 2-year process. I started writing at the age of 19, and I was unconsciously doing so. I wasn't really aware that I'm writing a book, but I just always had the passion for writing. Yeah. And after doing some tours around the country, I'm speaking to a lot of students. They asked me, will you leave us with something? Because we'd like to take something back with us. We hear you on stage, but what can we take home? So I was like, I've been writing and I have quite a lot. Why don't let me put that together and put it in a book, and the 21 came about.
This is quite a beautiful step-by-step kind of tools program to help the young black woman, or just the young woman in any space that she finds herself in, to navigate and shift and mold. So are these lessons that you've learned along the way and you've decided to give back and share, or have you been able to speak to other women to put this book together?
So the idea, the main theme around the book is purpose. And I think 21 is the perfect age to kind of be aware of what it is that you're meant to be. So when putting the book together, I had to kind of highlight certain themes that I have learned along the way, and how what I understood purpose to be, from the lessons, from the experiences, from my upbringing. And it took me a lot of digging deep in and looking at myself to be able to put it together. But from speaking to a lot of young women to getting mentors who speak to me on a daily or on an average basis. And I was able to put those lessons together, but purpose being the highlighted factor. And that's why I said 21 would be the perfect title, because, as I said, at 21, you're asking yourself a lot of questions about what it is, what life is. You're asking yourself, why am I here? I'm now getting to adulthood. And it's that very big step, and having these tools to guide you into getting into that adulthood life with a very much a clear perspective of what you personally are meant to be and what your purpose is on earth. Because we all have a purpose. And it's our responsibility to find that purpose by asking ourselves certain questions, and those questions are in this book.
Now, I absolutely hate ageism. I believe that age means absolutely nothing. But there is something really symbolic about 21. I remember I bought my first apartment at 21, and I really did start adulting, and I felt like a woman. And by 21, you have just achieved so much. I think it is absolutely remarkable what you've done. I mean, at what point did you have that degree of maturity, or what gave you, I suppose, or supported that degree of maturity within you, that you are able to go to schools and do so many amazing motivational talks and have such an impact on young people?
You know what, Jeannie, we all have a story. We all have to go through certain experiences. And what I decided to do with my story and my experiences was to take each and every one of them and take lessons out of them and use those lessons to mold my life. So I think, all of us go through things, and all of us can become mature at a very young age. It's just a matter of digging deep inside of us and asking ourselves certain questions. And I did that at a very young age, growing up as the only child at home. I didn't really have much anyone to talk to, or have a sister to kind of relate things to. So I was a child who always looked into myself and always spoke to myself. And that gave me a lot of time to introspect. And I speak about that in the book as well, about having to spend a lot of time with self, to introspect too. And that's where I guess I got to get, my kind of...
But I was unfortunately not able to get to your TEDx Cape Town talk, but I heard that you delivered this amazing talk that there was like not a dry eye in the room. You had everybody in tears. What did you speak about, and how do you come up with content to speak about for your talks and your motivational work that you do?
So one of my mentors, Tsepo Muhlala, always talks about how we always need to find a story, and how my story can impact someone else's story. So whenever I do get on stage, whenever I do get to do speaking engagements, I always relate it back to my story, because my story is a relatable story to many African young children. And if I can be able to share that story and tell them, listen, we all go through these things, but how about we look at it from a different perspective? And in that way, we can be tougher, stronger, much more brighter from those experiences. So my motivation for speaking and being on stage comes from that. And my story is your story, and together we can impact the world and change it to become better.
It's that togetherness and that sense of unity and that universal theme that keeps you so inspiring and that keeps people coming back to you time and time again. And as much as you are busy with TV, emceeing, radio, you're basically touching a lot of everything and turning it into gold. Something else that is just absolutely platinum shining is the young, bold and black movement that you've got in society, going into the community and helping. Do you mind sharing a little bit of the work that you do there?
Yeah, so I mean, with everything that I do, I always, my motto is having to be impact driven. So I love being involved in anything that's impact driven. So whether it be TV, whether it be radio, there's a certain amount of impact that you can have with those platforms. So that's why I am in those platforms. And in 2018, I founded Young, Bold and Black, which is a movement that highlights young Black people in Africa and says to them, you're doing amazing, let's give you a pat on the shoulder, have an awards ceremony that celebrates you in your industry. So from lawyers to chefs to doctors to TV personalities, and every young person who doesn't look back from where they come from but is looking forward to where they're going and is using that.
You can salute Pali, she's my favourite Young, Bold and Black.
Yes. 2020 nomination.
Yes, I'm just nominated. Now, you obviously have mogul goals, and I think it's absolutely extraordinary how hard you work and how focused you are. I want to know a little bit about your Perez events company.
Yes. So Perez was founded 5 years ago, and it was once again wanting to have impact. And I was living in the Helderberg region, and at the time I looked around and I was like, the young people here don't have much going on. And I founded an events company that creates impact-driven events. And, you know, from that community, the community started buzzing. There was events, there was things happening. And from then onwards, you know, we started seeing other, you know, events like the Fabulous Women Gala Dinner, you know, the YBB Awards, and so forth. So, I mean, it's my 5 years now, and it's like my little baby, and it's growing, and I'm so proud of it.
I mean, what's left for you to do? I mean, you're obviously an underachiever. I mean, what do you still want to achieve? Like, where's your goal? Like, I mean, what do you want to be when you're big?
You know, my biggest ambition is to touch each and every young African child's mind, to let them understand that the power of changing this continent is in their hands. If I can do that, then I believe that I would have done what I'm meant to be on earth. So I still think there's still a long way to go. There's still how many African countries that I still need to reach. And worldwide, you know, young people worldwide who need to start changing the perspective on how they see the world and what each and every one of us can do. So that's when I think I'll be confident.
Oh, you're a superstar. We're definitely going to be watching every move you make and following you with all of the love and support that you need.
Thank you so much.
I love it. Thank you so much for writing this book. I know that there was a passage that touched you and you wanted to share with our viewers, and after that we have to let you go. But it is so sad because we just are so moved by everything.
Yes, definitely. But if I can go into that one little passage that I can leave the viewers at home with, it's in chapter 2 and it's under the title Purpose. And it speaks about 3 reasons why we were created. The first being that, you know, you were created to add value, you were created to dominate, and you were created to live your purpose. So go out there and do it.
That is so beautiful, indeed. If you want all the details on where to find Vuyo for this book launch, definitely head over to Afternoon Express's website and we'll have all those details lined up for you. Let's go out with purpose and make an impact in every community we touch. Thank you so much, Vuyo.
Now join us after the break as we catch up with seriously one of the greatest young talents that we've had on the show before. She is incredible and you are just going to fall in love with her as much as we did. I'm Mifaku, live in studio after the break.